Hello and welcome to my first video on an introduction to plastic canvas. I've been doing plastic canvas for about 40 years now, since my mother taught me at a very young age, and I have loved it ever since. You can create so many wonderful things with plastic canvas. You can create fun little magnets. You can create tissue boxes. This is my newest tissue box. Isn't she just adorable? You can make Christmas ornaments and so many more. Wall hangings, wreaths. It's great for making gifts, Christmas gifts, birthday gifts, anniversary gifts, home decor, anything you can think of, you can make it. So what I'm going to do is go over some very basics. Plastic canvas and things you need to get started. The first thing you need is a sheet of canvas. This is a standard sheet of canvas in clear, and canvas patterns and all, they go by holes. As you can see, it's like a mesh holes. Some patterns go by bars, which are the lines. I prefer to count using the holes. I find it easier. And a standard sheet of plastic canvas has 90 holes on the long side and 70 holes on the short side. It also comes in what's called an artist sheet. This one is bigger for bigger projects. It's also a little bit softer too. Your standard sheet is a little bit harder, and they even have an extra stiff for those special projects you don't want to bend at all. The artist sheet is 120 holes on the long side and 80 holes on the short side. You can kind of see the size difference here. This is also considered 7 mesh canvas based on how many holes per inch, and 7 mesh is the most standard use for plastic canvas. They have many different sizes. I do have a sheet here which is 10 mesh. As you can see, the holes are much smaller. This is great to use when you want projects with more detail. You can use this with cross stitch as well. It's very pliable and soft. And canvas also comes in many different colors. I only have orange and white available to show you, but they come in every color you can think of. So once you have your canvas, you need a needle. Needles also come in all different sizes, from the length of the needle to the width, to the size of the hole that the thread goes in. And I like to use this size here, which is an 18 for needle point. Let's see if we can get a good little shot of it. But they come in all different sizes. This one also states 18, and it states for tapestry, and it's the same size. I have a few different other sizes here I can show you. They have plastic, which is great for kids that are learning, but the only thing I've noticed with these plastic ones is the eye is a little big, so it has a hard time going through the hole. You see, it doesn't want to go through there. So I actually would not recommend these. Here's a little bigger size metal needle. It's about the same as the plastic. It doesn't bend like the plastic. And it will go through, but you have to give it a tug. And once you get yarn going in there, it's going to make it even harder. So you definitely do not want too big of a needle, but if you make it too small, then you have a hard time getting the yarn in. Speaking of yarn, then you need yarn. Yarn comes in every shape, size, color you can imagine. I really don't pay much attention to what yarn. I like to buy my yarn at thrift shops and yard sales, marketplace, and I'll use just about any kind of yarn I can get my hands on. The most popular yarn, I think, is the Red Heart. I do like the Red Heart. You have glitter yarn. You have all kinds of yarn. This here, now this one here is a wool-like. It's very, very fine, very thin. This one would not really work too well for plastic canvas, but it would be great for stitching outline and details. Red Heart is the best one to work with. It's acrylic yarn, and it's a, trying to see if they have a size on there. Let's see. I don't know, never really paid much attention to the size. This is a very old one. I probably picked this up at the thrift store yard sale. Let's see how that's thick. Let's see the comparison here. You can see the comparison. This one is very fine. So you definitely want a little thicker yarn there. So you definitely need yarn. Next, you'll need scissors. You need something to cut your yarn and cut your canvas. Now, I have several pair of scissors for different little things. This is my favorite pair for just cutting out the basic shape of the canvas. And then I use a fine, very, very pointy end. And these here are great. These are my newest ones for getting in between the inside, very detailed cuts. See how with the fine point you can get inside there. Some people use all different kinds of tools. You don't have to just use scissors. But I like scissors. And then the next thing you need is a pattern. Patterns come in all different varieties. I have a few here to show you. This is a very vintage pattern book. This one is on tissue box covers. Older patterns are in black and white. Not all of them, but some of them. I prefer color. I think it's easier to see. This one is in color. And it shows you the design. And it usually shows you the stitch and the color yarn. Pattern books also give you details, usually on what to do and how to put together the project if it contains many pieces to it. Here's another one. This one's from 1990. There's my little, where I got the pattern for this cutie. See there? And you can embellish your things. I added pumpkins and spiders. You can do so much with plastic canvas. This one here, if you go through, pumpkin surprise. This one has nice patterns, colors. There's a bigger one, nice big heart. Here's an example of a printed pattern that I printed out from another vintage pattern book. This one's for lemonade coasters, and it has the colors and all the shapes. Yeah, so those are the basic materials you will need for plastic canvas. Some of the things I'm working on is I just got a program to create my own pattern, so I'm working on this Halloween display. I don't know what to name it yet. There's going to be 2 more pieces. This was inspired by an image I seen on the internet where people would take long slats of wood and they would paint a ghost and a Frankenstein and a pumpkin and a mummy. So I'm trying to replicate it in plastic canvas, and then they're going to sit on a nice base. So hoping to get this finished in time for Halloween so I can get the shapes and the patterns up for anybody else. This was my latest pattern that I just did. I called this one the Katuna Cat, inspired by my black cat. I turned them into magnets. This one here, I added, just found a piece of metal, oh, I can't even think of the word, and just gave it a little twirl to make it a little photo holder magnet. One of my 9 little granddaughters. They keep me busy. And I am also working on some Christmas trees. I know I'm doing Halloween and Christmas. I can't stop. I usually have 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 projects going at once. But what can you say? I have a passion for plastic canvas. I love creating with my hands. Sometimes I keep things. Sometimes I give things away for gifts. Very seldom do I sell things because there's usually never anything left to sell. Because it's very hard. I either want to keep it or give it to a family member. But that is the basics. The basic things you need for plastic canvas. This is just a short video to give you the basics. You need your canvas. You need a needle. You're going to need scissors. And you're going to need yarn. And a pattern. Those are the 5 main things that you need to start plastic canvas. So thank you for watching. This is my very first video, so please excuse any humor in it. And I hope that helps, and I do plan on making many more to help any beginners, anyone else. I plan on doing lots of videos from projects together and tips and tricks and everything I've learned over the years. Thank you for visiting, and feel free to comment below any questions. Just comment. I love having everybody following me, and I love chatting with everybody, and thank you for visiting.